learn to an election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it down, we gon' get it. Working to the cover.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your watch list coming in November 5th, 2020, and the stock market just set a record today. This was the largest post-election move in history. Dow is up about 700 points at one point, closed around 360. A lot of individual industries that we talked about, banks, healthcare, even travel. It was a lot, but the election is still going on. We have a lot to talk about, and we didn't get the election results per se. It was contested as expected. However, the big key is the market has showed us a lot today, and looking at this even after hours and then coming into the rest of this week, it is going to tell us a lot. So I have a recap of a lot of what happened today, but mainly what the market said. I know we've been talking a lot about the election. We were live on the stream yesterday. We didn't post the watch list, but it is looking at some of the market metrics and market factors that are kind of saying, hey, what's happening here and what can we look forward here to the end of the year? So we have a lot to talk about. I got the plays. I got the keys. The plays we made today, not too many, but everything else we are looking at the rest of this week. So let us not delay. You guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's the first link in the description, and it is pinned in the comments. We better see you there in the morning. It's free $99. It costs you nothing to join. YouTube.com/the-stock-market. You can post the plays, see the plays, watch the watch. Let's come to life. And yes, 4 years from now, if you want to watch the next election live all day, all day, almost like 15, a bunch of hours, we are the place to be. And the most important thing you need to do, post or watch this below. Let us know what you're looking at. Got any plays, comments, remixes, anything, post them below and source that info. Shout out to Chad, baby. So right off the bat, the election is still going and it is heating up. A lot of people are even talking. I'm getting messages, emails. You're seeing it on the news. People are saying who's winning right now. Even the time I'm filming this, people are saying it's Biden. Then you're getting the tweets. Then you're getting all of this. We talked about this today. You are going to hear this term legal ballot. Again, you're going to hear this in the future. But as far as the market, it told us some very specific things, and that is what you want to watch, especially when you can't figure out everything. There's still a lot going on. It's kind of just go for the low-hanging fruit and take the easy signals. So one thing for certain that happened, and we're seeing it now, it's not as wide sweeping, but that blue wave, or it says ads, but it's supposed to mean odds right there, those dropped. So that gives us some level of certainty, and it's going to explain the rest of the moves that we saw. We also saw banks and bonds react a little bit crazily. We said watch healthcare as well too, but the banks and bonds, that was interesting because it's also related to the global effect, monetary policy. That's when some of the other currencies started moving, and that's something I would say to be watching as we move forward with kind of the next few days. But now to explain the big rally, this is probably the key, and I'm going to tie this all in, but the market moved as if it was expecting inflation, but not all of the signals for inflation were there. Mainly gold is what I would say, as well as some other clear-cut ones. So this could be equating to a Biden victory, believe it or not, with the market. It is too early to tell. You did have the market pricing in Trump prior, so this is very interesting to see because it's really, really difficult to say. But the reason why I'm coming to this conclusion with that is because simply, if you got a blue president and then you're not getting the blue wave sweep, it's essentially swapping out the president, but it's not as if that much is going to change. So it makes sense why some industries reacted how they did, why the overall market would be up, but then some things like gold and other signals looking for a full-on Biden win, they didn't get affected. Essentially, market moved as if it was expecting inflation and not too much inflation, and that could be because it might not change too much with the Senate still in place. That being said, though, the nature of this election, it is very contested, and the market now is still going to be looking for Powell this week, and we'll see. However, we did hear from Powell today based on the first day of the meeting, and he is not expected to actually say anything about stimulus. So as far as tomorrow and Powell, we are not expecting him to pressure stimulus, but you did hear that from McConnell today saying they need one by the end of the year. Some people are saying this lame duck session. So even all of this, I mean, a lot of politics are happening right now. The market is going to react to a lot of it, but I think all of this is still up in the air. What I'm even equating this to is that it could pretty much turn into the new trade war, reflecting similar movements we saw 2018, 2019 as the trade information or the trade war phase one, all those updates came in. So it is creating an interesting environment to trade in because things will remain stable, but will have the ability to change quickly. Again, that is the nature of volatility. We talked about that, but the timing of how this is going to unfold and watching and just going again, that low hanging fruit and seeing what is really being affected, it's going to take some time. And it's really hard to say if it's going to happen very, very soon or if it will be dragged on. And that is what added that element to the trade war when that was occurring. So watch that, and then kind of adding to that, watch the rest of the world in divergence. I talked about this today, what I'm looking for. I told you guys last week, S&P might be a little bit more resilient than you think. So what I want to look for tomorrow is, do other markets piggyback off of this positive move? So even if we keep going up, futures are up right now, the question is going to be, do other markets follow? And as far as divergence, what I'm looking for is the US and S&P to stay up while other markets kind of decline or stay the same. That could give us an idea if we're looking at something domestically, or even then now, how the election could be affecting things globally, currencies, all of that. So hopefully that is a good enough recap to understand why the election, the counts are still going on. It is really getting heated up if you're interested in that. They're talking about voting stations and sending people home and counting it. You already had the lawyers. There's a lot of stuff brewing with it. But as far as the market, this is what happened. Again, all of the industries really did move. As I get to the plays, you guys will see, but it was a very exciting day. Last night was exciting as well too. I hope you guys are ready. It's only going to get crazier, but that is pretty much it. So let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I have a lot of different plays here. I mean, if we're going to talk about the election, GLD, baby, that is going to be the final signal in this whole theory I just said. If the market really is confirming Biden, I'm placing it on GLD in the sense that if it really was going to say, hey, we're going to get inflation, not even too much though, I really would expect to see GLD move. So that is a play I'm going to be looking at because I think it might have the potential to have volatility and pop, and that's good because it hasn't really moved too much, but then also at the same time, you guys know how gold is and kind of how it's even been. It could easily get clapped. So that plays very, very interesting. I'm going to be watching them. As far as the other plays, I will be watching Qualcomm tomorrow for continuation. They had their earnings today. It should be cheap, but that was a big surprise. So all the options were already cheap. Qualcomm's not expected to move more. So this could be a good continuation play. The problem is it might be kind of like Pinterest where it pops up in the morning, holds up for a little bit. The premiums are really high, and then all of a sudden it starts to drop. So that's what I will be watching out for that one, but I like it. I think those will be cheap. The next set of plays, HD, McDonald's, and Walgreens. And now this is one I scaled in on. And then another point to notice about today, there was a big move between value and growth. A lot of the money went to tech and growth, not as much value. But now if you're getting that broader pull, and you really do get some bullish movement here. We've seen this before. We've played this a lot of times, HD, McDonald's, but these were the laggers. Again, the market was up 2% on the S&P, NASDAQ almost 4%, but then HD only closed up 1.92%, but we got this. It was up 1%, and then even McDonald's was lagging, but I like these plays, and I'm even adding one to the mix, Walgreens. So Walgreens is going to have cheaper options, and it's going to move less. The things we like about McDonald's and HD is that they're kind of slower movers that have the ability to move fast, and that is great for the options. So Walgreens is a little different. I think this is a more value play, but this one you could trade it a little bit better. But watch all three of these. As far as the plays, I grabbed two HD November 20th 315s at 55 cents, and this was pretty interesting today. And this is what I said to watch for, is just watch the premiums and see how they moved, and if you're paying more for the indexes or anything else. But these ones were pretty far out the money. I had a lot of time on them, but they were far out the money. They even ended up closing down, and I think I overpaid on them, but you could see I got them in the morning. I top ticked it. All they did was drop. I held the whole position. I'm still holding. Then it shoots right back up to 66, held up, and then kind of disintegrated there at the end of the day. It's further out the money, and this was the issue with a lot of contracts. Even when we look at some of the old leaps, this is why today had the makings of a lot of stuff, but then it also wasn't hitting the same because it was a big move. But if you go look at tech, again, we did suffer pretty big losses in October. That was 10% on the market, but a lot of the leaps are still down 50, 70% on the Microsofts and the Spotifys, 80% on those. So you got movement, but it just wasn't the same, and there was a lot of still volatility priced in these contracts. So this is what I was even doing all day, is just observing the differences in the contracts and seeing which ones actually went up and not. And you could see the ones closer to the money with time those did a lot better. You start seeing kind of the further out the monies, and I'm using Home Depot as an example, but I guess even these closer ones, again, the volatility was just overall very, very weird today, or at least the pricing of it. But I think that was just the nature given the election and the fact that this was a record move. This was the biggest move ever post-election. So watch those, though. I have those HDs. I will look at McDonald's and Walgreens again as I'm going to be scaling in. That was my logic here. I got some in the morning. I said, well, wait a little bit. It got up there. I gave it one more run. I said, okay, if it comes down enough, we'll see. But there wasn't enough really juice to capture it on individual names, but we did look at the option chain, and we did, what I just showed you with Home Depot, the S&P and the indexes, those options hit, even the ones further out the money. Those were a lot better priced and offered a lot better deals. So watch those, though. My idea is going to be scaling in if there is any direction. I'm still waiting for Wall Street to fully position. So even though I'm telling you guys all the theories and everything now, I'm waiting for a full positioning and, again, following kind of a clear-cut trend. So we'll see. That's why I'm going to start throwing pebbles until we could really start getting in there. But watch them. And then Uber and Baba, watch both of these. They have earnings. Baba has earnings. I want to see how it plays with everything with the ant stuff, but then also Uber, and I will even add DraftKings to these. I want both of those. We have on the random account the Uber, and I still have those put spread plays. Those are going to make us some money back, but we're still down like 18 G's on the DraftKings, but I like both of those, and even those types of plays. Watch for any type of legislation winner. So they both had legislation in their favor. They both went up a lot, especially Uber, 15%, so that was great. So I'm going to be watching those and any other companies alike. As far as everything else, it's really going to be about industries and watching everything. Again, tech, Facebook, Apple, all those companies are going to be good. Facebook really had a bright spot going up 8% today, but watch how tech plays. Watch UNH. I really am going to like these ones. Again, I'm mad at, I missed that one. That's Uber, but no, UNH even above 350 or 330. You guys know this level. So I like some of these plays. Not all of them held up the gains, but these are the ones I'm going to be watching. But clearly you could see the industry winners, again, tech, growth, healthcare specifically. But now you also had Expedia earnings. They shot up here just a little bit, but then this brings up another one of the points. Watch Caesars and UAL. Hospitality, travel. This is, again, one of those signals where it's like, well, if they're expecting inflation and stimulus, if the market really is pricing in Biden to a degree, why haven't these ripped as much? Again, Caesars was up, so it could be just contradicting between inflationary policy and lockdown policy. I don't know. But watch these. I think they could really just be a canary in the coal mine, or even a decent barometer of what's going on while things are a little bit contested, or even just the overall view of these two industries. If they could get certainty and go, that would be very, very key for the market, especially now that we got all this wrapped up. Again, same thing with banks, and they were moving with yields, and election results were getting in the way of other currencies and stuff like that. There's some effects here, but we really want to watch the bank and bond moves there and see how that plays out. So keep an eye on them. And then finally, TLT, GLD, and UUP. Again, GLD didn't move, which I think is the real signal. TLT moved, and yields definitely did drop today, and it was a big amount. The key is watching for a follow-through. If this does follow through and you get that follow-through with Powell, something is definitely there. If not, though, I think this is a big move equating to the size of the day we saw today. So the question is really going to just be timing and waiting and seeing if it sustains or not. That's really how these big bond moves work. So watch that. And then finally, UUP, it stayed the same, which is interesting. So that's why, equating it with everything else, that's going to kind of even be our signal for banks and everything else. But I hope you guys can see it is a lot. It is only going to be more, but every day that goes on, we're going to get a lot more clarity. So that is going to help us. There's a lot on the table. There's a lot on our plate. So I hope you're ready. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to listen, baby. It's the Colt. We love you all. You all got a voice, but make sure you're listening. You got to listen. Be quick to listen. But the Colt loves you. I love you. I'm going to see you in the morning. Let's go.